And we're live.
Yeah. What's good, people? It's your boy Icarus Gray.
And it's your homeboy Wordplay TJ.
And this is the No Rhyme or Reason podcast, where we talk about everything.
Everything for no reason at all. And we're live.
Yeah. What's good, people? It's your boy Icarus Gray.
And it's your homeboy Wordplay TJ.
And this is the No Rhyme or Reason podcast, where we talk about everything.
Everything for no reason at all.
We back.
Yeah. You gotta raise your mic up.
I do.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize it. It was in video recording mode where I just project out because I don't want the mic in my face.
Oh.
Video content.
Yeah. Do you feel uncomfortable being slightly hunched over?
No, because I probably hunchback in Notre Dame my entire life.
Relax. Speaking of relaxing, hopefully everybody out there is relaxing while watching this. I know traffic can be a bit of a anxiety-laden situation, so if you're listening to us in traffic, relax.
And welcome back.
Yeah. How's your week been?
Week has been amazing because
Nice.
I was able to get Kirby, and I made what I consider significant progress in writing for the album. I know per our pre-conversation it doesn't seem like it, but there's like, I think you finally like awoke the complete song writing in me a bit.
I don't know what you mean by that. And they don't know what you mean by that.
So what I mean is, like, I used to kind of write very verse focused, and I could write choruses and stuff, but I didn't like have the thoughts of mixing a verse up. Sometimes I would like stumble across something that I like doing, whether it's like a quick verse to like a breakdown where, you guys know, like your verse might seem short and then the rapper gets to something that they repeat or whatever the case may be, and it feels good. It's the part you like in a song. We were talking about the catchy, what's the thing when people listen, when you're trying to make like hits, the stick. That I couldn't think. The stickiness, increase the stickiness.
Yeah, so the stickiness of the song. From
dang it. This is what happens.
Yep. You gotta prep.
Yeah, I do.
Gotta prep ourselves.
I do. They were prepped. The thing is, I need to color code. I normally color code to things that will always remind me of what they were. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to say stickiness.
I get it.
Yeah. Malcolm
Gladwell has this philosophy about stickiness and things that in the marketing world, whenever a product catches somebody's attention or even a marketing rollout, that's the essence of stickiness.
But yeah, so that was pretty much like my week. How was yours?
Pretty tumultuous, and I think we played the what?
I'm go ahead, T.I. I'm just saying nothing.
Look,
tell me why it was tumultuous expeditiously.
It was extraordinarily tumultuous, and I was at work screaming on people left and right. And I thought it was an opportunity for me to be loquacious in my presentation in a corporate space. So that's what I did.
You brought back great value. Okay. Again.
That was great value TI, by the way.
Oh my god! No, I know, but it turned somewhere along the line to great value MLK because you got to get in your that Baptist preacher ass, and I was like, I was sick of this. They was on my nerves.
Yeah, so that was my week. But Gamer Bros, right? And we already played the sound, so maybe we shouldn't talk about the week.
Nah, but that was my week. So, well, my last couple days. Anyway, I finally got Kirby. Really excited. How much do you know about Kirby outside of what I talked to you about?
Nothing, because I think our history on this show is that whenever Kirby comes up, I'm just kind of like, Kirby. Because I just never have been interested in Kirby. And when my brother picked Kirby as his favorite Smash character, I was just always annoyed. Like, it was just like, okay, cool, you can fly. And in the original Smash, like, he's just OP. Like, Kirby has too much going on. And it's just really difficult to knock Kirby off. And that's why my brother picked him.
Oh, yeah, Kirby has the best recovery. I mean, if you know anything about Smash in that regard and his versatility of moves. So it's like I can edge guard you and do all this other stuff. And like, even if you think you're about to like hit me while I'm flying, I can just turn into a rock.
Yeah.
Turn it into an attack and have it as defense. So not a lot. That's fine. Yeah. Well, this is one that I think you would enjoy playing.
Okay.
Did you play any of the Mario open world, like 64 or anything like that?
Yeah.
3D World?
I played Mario, the original open world platformer. What was it? What is it called? Mario something.
64?
64, yes.
Yeah.
And I played Sunshine as well.
Okay.
And that's where the buck stopped. After that, I was just too preoccupied with being a teenager and women.
So basically, this is Kirby's first foray into like the 3D huge world kind of thing, where it's not all the way open world, or it's not open world at all. There's still a linear path to it, but it plays out like those 64 Sunshine or something like that, in terms of how each of the individual levels kind of play. So Kirby and the Forgotten Land has been one of the most amazing games that I've played in a very long time, especially in the Kirby series. I think game developers in the last 2 years are finally starting to really realize what the fans, us, want.
Yeah.
What was your favorite aspect of what Game Freak did with Pokemon Legends Arceus?
I think when we talked about this before, I think what I brought out of that experience and what was new about Legends Arceus was the novel way to play the game, right? The mechanics were newer and more challenging than they were in the past. And because I'm a historical Pokemon player since Gen 1, like, we've been asking for a challenge, and that's something that was important.
And that is what they did with Kirby. They added challenge. And it's not a required challenge. It's required to get 100%, but they've added enough challenge to where people who have loved Kirby, like myself, can play, even if it's something that's quote unquote geared towards more kids. They've added, a collection thing with.
Hold on, before you move on to more of what they added, because I think maybe compare the challenges, right? Compare like previous and new, like, what's the new challenge? here?
So previous games, the challenge would be, so you would go through the game. Didn't matter whether you did the game easy, hard. There wasn't no difficulty spikes. But once you got to the end, there would be like a boss rush. There would be secret places that you could go, and these little mini games or the quest to get to completion would be a lot of what made it hard.
Was
the
it
boss
like a
rush especially.
a side scroller like Mario,
Yeah, they've always been
like Super Mario
side-
Brothers?
Yeah, they've always pretty much been side scrolling. I think the only one that kind of wasn't was maybe Kirby 64, but I never got to play that one, so I'm not really sure on that. But the difficulty spike was pretty low, unless like you could get through any Kirby game, no matter what it is, fairly easy. The only difficulty is always trying to go for the 100%, which is finding all the collectibles that they put in the game. Like I said, doing a boss rush, which would be all the bosses in the game. You might have some mini bosses. Trying to get through things without taking damage. Like you kind of had to create your difficulty.
Oh, so you have to put a handicap on yourself,
Pretty much.
in a way.
And the game would offer it to you. So it wasn't like you had to create everything, but yeah.
Okay, so what's the new challenge?
So the new challenge is they finally set it up to where, like in Mario, you could get these secret stars, and you had to do certain things to get them. So maybe you had to flip backwards right here to be able to reach some platform to get the star. The same thing happens in these levels, where in each level you have to find all of the Waddle Dees. Waddle Dees are little small characters that are like synonymous with the Kirby franchise. A lot of people have been wanting them in Smash Brothers. Specifically, the second player character in this game, Bandana Waddle Dee, is something people really thought was going to be in Smash Brothers because the creator of Kirby is also the head director of Smash Brothers.
HAL Laboratories.
Yep.
Okay.
Sakurai Miyamoto. But anyway, so it's been a really good like game. So each level there will be like something you go through, and you'll have to like bloom 5 tulips throughout the level to get a hidden Waddle Dee. There are like secret passages almost everywhere. There's like all these other secret challenges, whether you have to use mouthful mode, which is the new niche or new gimmick for Kirby this game.
So you have a checklist for every level?
Yes,
Okay.
pretty much. And some of those checklists, like now they will give them to you if you've gone through the level like 2 or 3 times. They'll tell you like what the objective is, because they can tell that you're not getting it or you didn't see it somewhere.
They're like, "Hey, dum dum,
But
this is what you're supposed to be doing." I don't know if I like that mechanic.
I think it's only after you get a certain amount of the Waddle Dees, though. And in a lot of way, they don't be like, find this. It'll be like literally, there are 2 secret passages in this level. And it's not like where they are. They have somebody there for if you there's a Waddle Dee who will like tell you if you're missing stuff. But you have to go and talk to them. That's not something that's just they're like handing it to you. Another huge mechanic in this is they have allowed you to upgrade your copy abilities, which is Kirby's big thing. You know, like in Smash Brothers, if he inhaled Link or inhaled somebody, he would get a sword or turn into ice or whatever he does. You're allowed to upgrade them. This reminds me a lot of Ratchet and Clank. Did you play any Ratchet and Clank? No?
No, but I think a lot of people liked it.
Okay. So any game where you get to upgrade your equipment, like even in Breath of the Wild, upgrading equipment or getting like those kind of attributes to certain things, or your Master Sword is probably like the best connection in terms of like, or getting more hearts or whatever.
So describe it.
So your base copy abilities are all the abilities that we've remembered. They added a couple new ones like Drill. They've added, they gave Kirby a gun.
How does it work though?
So in the levels, now these they don't give you. So in the level, like if you're looking around for all these different secrets, there might be somewhere you need to use mouthful mode to like go to a wall that is clearly not an objective, has no Waddle Dee behind it, and there's a blueprint. You take the blueprint to one of the Waddle Dees in town. You spend the currency that you get for beating levels. That's all throughout the levels. You collect them like coins. They are actually called star coins. And you pay for that. And the other challenge that they add is time trials with the copy abilities.
Is that how mouthful mode works?
Oh, I didn't know you were asking about mouthful mode. I thought you were asking about
it, but you didn't
mouthful
tell us
mode.
How it works.
In and of itself is so Kirby will try to inhale common objects. Common objects in terms of cars, cones, lifts, stairs,
Interesting.
domes. Like there's this half of like a awning, and he inhales that and it turns him into a glider. There's another one where it's like a full like circle shape, so it might be like the letter O off of a diner or something like that, and that turns him into like a wind thing. Like it's hard to it's like wind blast mode is what it's called, but I can't think of like anything to illustrate like what that one is.
Okay, so Kirby inhales an object.
Yes.
Some arbitrary object.
Yes.
And then that object gives Kirby a certain power or thing that you can use
basically
to get through the level.
He basically like has whatever that object is in his mouth. It's not even like regular copy abilities where you know his whole properties have changed. This is pretty much
But
like
if you inhale a car,
you're driving like a car.
That's what I mean.
Yes.
Okay.
I just mean
I was so
bad.
confused.
My bad. I was more so just saying it's so much funnier.
Too much information. Information overload.
My bad. But it's so much funnier because normally like he would assume those properties. Like Kirby has a copy ability where he turns into a wheel, so this technically wasn't something that was needed. So how they've done it is it's pretty much like he was stuck somewhere in the middle of transformation and just like he choked, but he didn't choke. And then he's just like, well, let me just use this.
Yeah.
But anyway, long story less long. I enjoy the game. I've put so many hours into it in just 2 days thus far. And it's just really, really enjoyable because the biggest thing I think that's also a challenge to upgrade the abilities is there's these time trials that you have with each of the copy abilities. So you have to use the cutter ability, which is where he throws like these blades, kind of like a boomerang kind of blade or whatever.
Yeah.
And so you have to use them to hit these switches in like certain ways. Like it has to like bounce off the wall and hit one switch, then hit the other switch, and then you have to run through the level as quick as you can to get these stars that you can then use to upgrade your copy abilities when you find the blueprints. But all in all, I've enjoyed the game. I do think it's something that you would enjoy, though.
Cool.
Okay. So,
Breath of the Wild. I heard it was delayed.
Yeah. They came out with a teaser trailer, which to show us a little bit more of the game, and said it's delayed till spring of 2023. So it's not like very long. It'll be like 2-3 months. Probably from when they had planned to release it.
That's too long.
It is.
I'm just saying, like,
because it's been 5 years.
Don't show me a teaser if I'm gonna have to wait a year.
They had to do something.
What did they have to do though?
Well, there's no E3 this year, so there was gonna be no more opportunities to like reveal that nothing was gonna be happening.
The internet exists though. They could do it. They could do it 6 months in advance and still
wait
be
a minute.
fine.
I feel like maybe I was gypped by the internet because when we're recording this, the day prior was April Fool's. There may be an E3. I have not. I need to check news today.
There's not going to be an E3. Did you verify your sources?
Oh my gosh. I was getting trolled so hard yesterday. But Breath of the Wild 2 was definitely delayed. I knew that much. That's how I knew it was April Fool's, because I saw one of the YouTube people I follow, Switch Force, saying that Zelda was undelayed and Splatoon 3 was delayed. And I was like, that's cap. So much cap. Or cappy.
Yeah. So I guess that's it for. I'm disappointed that Breath of the Wild is delayed, and I didn't read this on April Fool's, so I know that it's real. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a little. Yeah, I'm very disappointed in that, but I'll be fine.
From what you've seen, though, what do you expect from the game, or you just want more?
I don't know what to expect.
Okay.
And I don't know if I care enough to invest all of that emotional energy when there's nothing to play.
I would say I understand it, and I do. I think I'm just more excited about the other ramifications of stuff.
Yeah.
So
speaking of things that are happening in kind of the entertainment world and in space, Bruce Willis has announced that he's going to step away from acting for a bit to take care of his health. He has a condition called aphasia, which affects speech and memory and performance overall, and he's concerned about those things. I know you were pretty
bummed.
You had some feelings about that, right?
Yeah, so his daughter, Rumor, is the one who released the information about him retiring. Not even just stepping away. She's saying he's just, like, done. Like, this is the end of his acting career. And the saddest part about all of it for me is, Bruce Willis is a decade over decade, like, huge actor in terms of things that he's done in generations that he's meant something to.
Yeah, and last episode we talked about favorite movies, and Bruce Willis has been in most of my favorites.
Yeah, randomly somewhere. And that's the other thing. I feel like he's almost like a white Samuel L. Jackson, in the sense that it's like sense. He just is in everything, even things that you don't think that he should be in, he ends up popping up in. Like his cameo in Ocean's 12 is amazing. I've always enjoyed that. My favorite movie from him, though, is Fifth Element. What's yours?
Don't put me on the spot.
Oh, okay. Do you need more time to think of one?
No, I just don't know.
Really?
Names of movies. I'm not good at recalling names of movies on the spot.
Oh.
It's just not a thing I'm capable of.
I have learned something new about you.
Yeah. As soon as you're like, what's your favorite movie? I'm like, buffer.
I like your Aziz imitation there. That's what that was. But it's just sad because it's the end of an era. We just finished around Christmas time doing a Die Hard marathon because I hadn't seen the fifth one. Mm-hmm. But like that movie spans to before our lifetime, or like right at our lifetime.
Yeah.
I think it probably came out like the year that you and I were born.
Which one is the most recent one? Like Die Hard Without a Condom?
Wow. Wow, that had to get some air. Jeez, that was I don't remember the name of it because we didn't really like it.
Die Hard because you took Viagra.
What site were you looking for your Die Hard on?
I wasn't.
I don't know these titles.
I haven't seen any Die Hard movie at all.
Do what now?
At all.
That is
in life.
I mean, that's not surprising. Have you at least seen The Fifth Element?
I've seen clips.
Do what?
It's randomly on Saturdays, and I was like, okay, that's cool, but I don't care.
Okay, so you're the Pulp Fiction Bruce Willis. Yes?
Correct.
Okay. I was gonna go off into a whole tangent. I can save all of that for off air. Gosh. Okay. So you got a reference. So let me see another one. Sixth Sense.
Not a fan.
Okay, cool. Red.
Who?
Okay, never mind. But I'm trying to. Good. Now I'm blanking on Bruce Willis movies. That was enough. That was definitely enough. Again, off air.
I think we get the point.
I'm gonna grill you. It's crazy
that I haven't seen all the Brucey Willis movies.
Wow, but it's
Brucey
sad.
Willis.
I mean, he's still a decorated actor who has done everything from TV to a million different type of movies.
Yeah.
Like he's been action star, sex symbol, comedy, dramatic, and he's the only guy that I've known that's been able to do that in the way that he does it.
Yeah.
Which is like, who? The gruff bald guy? The gruff short bald guy? Mm-hmm. That went through a phase of like...
He's a Krillin.
He is. He is.
He's the Krillin of movies.
Shout out to Bruce Krillin. But anyway, shout out to him. Shout out to the family. I pray for his family and all of them and that this transition goes well, because from what we've read or kind of learned about Aphasia, like I'm hoping that it's not like I hope that it's not like a precursor to dementia or anything like that. I mean, I know that it can be, but it also has other causes that can like stem from strokes and stuff.
Yeah. So speaking of kind of more entertainment news, so there's a artist named Doechii. She sings, she raps, so she kind of does a lot. She's a 22-year-old Tampa native and went viral on TikTok with a single called Yucky Blucky Fruitcake, which is very, very interesting title, to say the least. But
to say the least.
Doechii is a part of TDE, but now has a partnership deal with Capitol Records and just released a new record out called Persuasive. So, yeah, what are your thoughts?
Thoughts are, given the SZA contention and everything else, and with everything that's been going on with TDE, I feel like TDE is trying to restock, seemingly.
Yeah.
Because in listening to this, I thought the song was interesting, but she has a very SZA-like sound quality to her.
Yeah.
That kind of seems like they're trying to, fill that gap.
My thought was if you merge Kendrick with SZA, that's what you get.
Yes.
So they're kind of milking the best of their catalog. But here's my issue with that, right? And I don't know where these people, these human beings are in their lives to release music and even be in a space where music is the most important thing to them, or an important thing to them, because it's never going to be the most for people. It could be, but I digress. I don't feel like they have utilized the bulk of their artists to their fullest extent at TDE. So I think it's important for them to continue to release new people and promote new people. But also you have a wealth of like gold that has just not been dug up from the rest of your catalog.
But I also think they're dealing like with the whole Isaiah Rashad stuff and dealing with the whole Kendrick stuff. Well, there was an apparent sex tape released about Isaiah Rashad or something that says
what?
that outed his sexuality.
Okay.
And I think...
Is it hearsay?
No. I just didn't...
Did you watch it?
I did not. I just know that there were confirmed tweets from people that support him, from like Schoolboy and some other people.
Interessante.
It wasn't like hitting the headlines, because that kind of it's just vicious in terms of whoever did it, trying to like make some sort of rapper point.
Okay, so somebody released a video
Yes.
of him having his private sexual time with individuals.
I don't know if that was needed, but yes.
Yeah, and and they're trying to out him for that.
They were. The whole thing is kind of passed over. This was like some months ago at this point. It's not like even a big topic, but the reason I brought it up is because I think with that going on and like prior to that, the presumed beef between him and Kendrick Lamar behind some interview he did, I do think that they're trying to like come out with their next set of stars. I mean, Isaiah Rashad was a huge star for them, especially like with their first album release.
He is a huge star, but I think that's my point, is that these people are stars, and I believe they should get more shine.
Yeah. I also think that...
But maybe that's an audience thing, right? Maybe their audience, cares about them so much that outsiders are not growing their audience necessarily.
I also think that success was a huge thing with them. I mean, for Kendrick to, in a lot of people's eyes, be 3 for 3 or 4 for 4, if you're like including everything from Section 80 on up and not just Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly and Damn, it's classic after classic after classic after classic. And if you're talking about like Ab Soul, then for most people he only had one miss. Schoolboy Q, I think there was only one miss, or what people would quote unquote consider a miss for him. And you know, good God, my whole brain froze. Oh my God.
The rest of their catalog, right?
But anyway, their success has garnered them time to sit back. I mean, it's been 5 years since Damn, or since at least Humble came out, you know, and I don't know. I think that there should be more music and they should be pushing them, but I also don't know what's going on behind the scenes, because I think that a lot of the artists have just enough money to do what they want to do, and they're just venturing off.
True. Yeah. So the point, I think, is that I feel like Doechii is a great move. I feel like Doechii has a lot of negate the mute.
Every time.
It has she has a lot of opportunity to grow and to flourish and to show her skills. So I think best of luck.
Yeah, I do think she's dope though. Just to clarify, it's just. It also sounds like they trying to fill a gap at the same time.
Yeah. Well, this episode is sponsored by Distrokid. If you're a musician who would love to distribute your music to Spotify, Apple Music, TikTok, and more, upload unlimited music for only $19.99 per year. If this is your first time using Distrokid, get 7% off your subscription. We use Distrokid to manage all of our artists and split payments between our collaborators. So click the link in the description of this podcast immediately. It's time for the No Rhyme or Reason podcast to talk about the thing we've been talking about all week.
A week
what
after
is it?
This happened.
The slap. The slap that happened at the Oscars. Too late. All right, you can fade the music. I'm just over this now. That was like anticlimactic. I thought I could do that way better than what it was.
My bad. Yo.
This thing plays music terribly. Now I know what you were saying when you heard your master. Did you listen to your master through here?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a good way to listen to music.
I think because it's processing to processes. Anyway, the phone goes good. But, yo. So instead of like doing the whole tired thing, because if you've been living under a rock by this point, I don't understand what you're doing.
Yeah, we don't have to explain this one. We know what's going on.
So, what are your overall thoughts about everything that has happened this week?
So I can think of a sort of synopsis of the whole entire situation,
Okay.
right? So I think the situation shouldn't have been a thing in the first place, right? It just shouldn't have occurred. It's an issue between black man and black man, but also the way black men are perceived for the rest of the world, and but I also believe that if this is not freedom of speech applies to people speaking against the government, and we need to understand that when we say things, we are liable for people to have their emotions and their expressions of their emotions whenever we say something. We can't be a society of words are powerful on one side, but then say words don't mean anything on the other side and just say it's just a joke. That's contradictory. And we can be aggressive, so to speak, with words, even in a joking manner. So we're liable to the consequences whenever somebody is offended by our words.
And overall, my think piece on it was more that social media has ruined the fact that y'all don't understand the difference between opinion and fact.
Oh, of course.
Like,
But we've talked about that. You know what I mean?
especially now, because there were so many people who were presuming what Jada felt, presuming what Will felt, presuming what Chris felt, saying this person, needed to apologize, that person needed to apologize. It was so left and right that we did not realize that none of this matters in the grand scheme of things. And presentation is everything. I showed somebody a video of, it was like 2011. Kevin Garnett was in a basketball game against Charlie Villanueva. And at the end of the game, there was this report, because I think they almost got into a fight or something like that, on ESPN, that and he also had alopecia, the whole connection point here. And what KG said to him is he called him a cancer patient. Now, the way it was handled at the time in terms of Sports Center was like, it's basketball, it's trash talk. The report made someone I know laugh, because the newscaster was just delivering the information in a newscaster way, but there's something funny about that. And so I was like, and I immediately was like, because I was trying to show the connection point in things and how people react and how people do all these different things. And so I was like, it's the delivery. I said, so if he sat in a certain way and delivered that same line in a different way, you may have laughed that day. And that just proves my point that it's about, perspective and stuff like that. And I don't think anybody had a lot of perspective this week, is what it felt like.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people are saying, maybe this is what you're saying, right? That people are saying, I would have handled it this way. I would have done this. I would have done that. And yeah, none of us are in that moment.
No. And I also hate, for the most part, of how much it crowded out a lot of other black excellence. Questlove winning an Oscar. Samuel L. Jackson getting an honorary Oscar. I didn't even know Beyonce performed.
The other host of the shows, right? So there were several other comedians that were hosting. And it's important that people have their day in the sun. But also, we just got off this huge campaign of Oscars So White, and a bunch of black folks win. And
while the Oscars is directed by a black man and other things were done by black people, like it wasn't Will Packard, just to make to say his name, but we were kind of in control a lot.
Yeah, so we had a lot of presence at the Oscars this year, and I think that presence was minimized by that thing, because that's everything that's all that people can talk about.
Do you think that,
and maybe that's what we should have talked about, is the other stuff?
and that's what I was about to get to in asking you this question. Do you think we as a society, or this last question, and then we're going to get to the connecting point. Do you think that we
You've been playing that game too much.
Do you think that we can learn more empathy? Because that's the other thing that was glaringly around. Because even with what you're saying about the freedom of speech stuff, there's still an empathy on both levels to me. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, we can, right? We can process empathy in that moment. And I think in a lot of ways, Chris processed that empathy. He processed that empathy in real time, right? And even though he is telling jokes on stage and he is a comedian and all of these other things, the way he handled that situation made me believe that he had a lot of empathy, right? Because he could have retaliated on stage. He could have retaliated after the fact. There could be a lot of anger and resentment, and there has been he's done shows since then, and he said that he's still processing and is not ready to really talk about that on stage.
Okay. But overall, like I said, let's transition to the celebration of the fact. Like, look, bro, like hip hop has Oscars. Hip hop, not like the medium that we love has.
Do you know many of those details? Because I don't know.
He won a blah blah blah. Good God, Questlove won an Oscar for his documentary, the name of which slips my mind because I stumble over every freaking thing in the world. I
synced it on Hulu.
God, man, that just
Summer of Soul.
Thank you. Also, there's a that was about to be a whole tangent. I'm just gonna let that be gone.
It's a celebration that Will Packard was directing or producing, rather, the Oscars.
And we were just looking amazing. Like everybody from, even though they dragging her because of all these comments. That's the other thing. Like people was looking good. Tiffany Haddish had a really great outfit. Kev on Stage was there. Quinta Brunson, who does Abbott Elementary, was at the Oscars.
It's a great show.
Like, we was showing out. Beyonce's performance has caused some speculation about some things.
Wait a minute. I don't know how to take that.
Listen,
I don't know how to take that.
Listen. All I saw on Twitter. There's
two ways that could go.
This was the tweet on Twitter. Are we gonna talk about how big Beyonce's have gotten? And I was like, what are they talking about? And
you mean the top or bottom?
The top.
Okay.
I wonder. You never know. You never know with folks.
Okay.
You never know.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, so it like there was so much black excellence packed into that night. Even Will won. Mm-hmm. That was another Oscar winner. Like
right, and it was celebrating another black family, right?
Yeah.
So King Richard Williams, right?
Yeah.
And Venus and Serena. So just celebrating that family. Right?
They had been taking apparent weird, awkward shots for 2 nights in a row where it was supposed to be about them, and like Ricky Gervais or something made like some sort of awkward joke to them or something about something or other, because people were like, they have been lost in the fray this entire weekend.
Yeah.
And so much was going on. Like, I told you about the battle rap event that I was watching, and somebody got stabbed and knocked out there, and that event had to shut down. I mean, I know it seems like a thing that happens at battle rap events, but it normally doesn't.
I just imagine if I go to battle rap, I'm gonna get stabbed.
You're not. And if you do, you're at the wrong event. You're at the wrong event.
I'm just ready to be stabbed. Got my vest on. I'm just prepared.
Not your vest though. So I just think, I hope that you and I, and that like next year, I don't know what they're gonna do, because what do you think is gonna happen next year with the Oscars, and then we'll just be all positive or something?
I don't know. This is gonna be my final thought, and then we'll wrap up. My final thought is that the Oscars is going to kind of batten down the hatches a little bit. Mm-hmm. They're going to be overprotective, same way that the Grammys and Kanye moments and stuff like that. But they're also going to maybe feed into this a bit, because they want ratings. And this has put a lot of spotlight on the Oscars, and we know that ratings of these award shows has been going down the toilet for the last decade.
Oh man, I do think it's just nasty work how they said that they asked him to leave, and everything has been confirmed that they didn't. And I was like, why are you playing into this? But I agree with you there. I hope that this doesn't overshadow everything for their career, and that it continues to just dissipate, because this was the year. This was like one of those years, and it's still a special year. I'm not even gonna start doing it. I'm gonna speak in the affirmative. It was a special year at the Grammys. A lot of things. Good, I just called it the Grammys. Special day.
What was that laugh?
It was like a Quagmire Cleveland combo.
Close.
The
Clevemeyer.
The impressions that you have in the tuck, I'm gonna uncover all of them. But I think it was still an amazing night for a lot of amazing people in different facets, and I just hope we all can like kind of learn from the situation.
Yeah. Well, and we hope that everybody else that's listening can learn from the situation. And we want to thank you for spending the time to talk with us during this No Rhyme or Reason podcast episode. I'm not sure what it's going to be called. Probably something about Clevemeyer. What was that other word that we used earlier? I think it was started with a B, but I can't remember.
You talking about what you use, or you said
maybe
tumultuous?
Tumultuous. I don't know. We'll figure out what to call it, but it can't be another great value anyway. Thank you for listening. Be sure to rate this podcast on whatever thing that you're listening to this podcast on, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, etc., etc., etc. And we're gonna catch you on the next one.
It's a 1 and a 2 and a peace.